I'm DUI attorney Nick Alcock, and I'd like to speak a little bit about what you should do if you're pulled over for a DUI. And I posted some other videos that talk about this subject, but I've spoken with some clients lately, and they still seem to be a little bit confused about what I think is the most important aspect of any DUI stop. So you're driving down the road, and a police officer gets behind you. The minute that vehicle is behind you, the officer is behind you, if it's late at night, are probably already being investigated for a DUI. So the way in which you drive, how quickly you pull over, where you park, and how you park is incredibly, incredibly important. And it's something that you need to bear in mind. So if you have had a couple of drinks, the law in Arizona says that you could be convicted of a DUI if you are impaired to the slightest degree. So even if you're below the legal limit, that does not guarantee that you're going to avoid being arrested and charged with DUI. 2 drinks, 3 drinks, you could be, say, the legal limit is 0.08. You could be a 0.07 and still be charged with a DUI if the officer believes that your driving was impaired and there's evidence of that impairment. So an accident, for example, or you're weaving within your lane or outside of your lane, or you park in the middle of the road, anything along those lines, and you might wind up getting a DUI even if you're under the legal limit. So if you've had a couple beers at a dinner party and you're driving home, you know you're not a 0.08. You can't relax and you can't say, well, I know I'm under a 0.08, so I'll never be charged with a DUI in Arizona. That simply isn't the case. Police officers are going to come up to your car and they're going to look inside the window and they're going to start assessing a lot of things that you may not be considering. Bloodshot, watery eyes, odor of alcohol, the way in which you're dressed, if you're disheveled, if your shirt is untucked. All of those little signals are going to be possibly used against you. So if the officer sees, all right, we got a driver here, he can't find his driver's license, he can't find his registration, he can't find his insurance, he's fumbling through his wallet. All of those little things can wind up being used against you in a court of law where maybe the judge and jury aren't going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they aren't going to say, well, the person was just nervous. They might say, well, no, the fact that it took this driver so long to find the driver's license, that's evidence that they were impaired by alcohol. So you should have driver's license, registration, insurance handed over to the police officer. The more you say to a police officer, the more likely it is the officer is going to say, I heard slurred speech, I heard someone who was stuttering or staggering through a conversation, sounded like they were impaired. And if you do feel like you are impaired by alcohol, then really you should speak with the officer in a slow manner and say, I'd like to speak with an attorney. There are plenty of attorneys out there that have cards prepared that have got a little advisement on the back saying, I would like to speak with an attorney, and we have them as well. And so if you get one of those cards, keep it in your wallet, and if you feel like you're impaired, you hand that over to the police officer. And what you're saying is, I want to speak with an attorney. You have the right to speak with an attorney. So you get pulled over, you have the right to speak with an attorney, and that cannot be used against you. So the officer can't testify in court, well, this driver, I want to speak with an attorney, so they must be guilty of DUI. No, you actually have that right, and it can't be used against you. And what it does is that it prevents the police officer from then doing the field sobriety test and the touch the nose and the HGN pen test and everything else that police officers do to determine whether or not someone is impaired by alcohol. We'll talk about in the second video about what you should do once you are under arrest. This video is about if you are pulled over, what should you do? And I'll recap quickly. Pull over, not in a safe manner. Find a safe parking spot as quickly as you can. Watch how you park. Driver's license, registration, insurance together. Hand over to the police officer. Avoid long conversations. If you feel like you're impaired, ask to speak with an attorney immediately. If you have a DUI case here in Arizona, our number is 602-989-5000. That's 602-989-5000. It's a free consultation. It can happen right over the phone. It's very, very simple, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have about DUI in Arizona. My name is Nick Alcock. I'm the owner of Alcock Associates, and thanks so much.